Okay. All right, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Just kind of settle yourself in. I want to make sure everyone is. Who's our host tonight? T Joy. Okay, thank you. Okay. So feel the weight of your feet on the floor. So if you're not sitting cross-legged and your legs are down, have them in a parallel position and just feel the heel, the side of the foot, the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and all of your little toe pads. And then notice the back of the leg. Just feel the weight of your pelvis on your seat. So if you are sitting cross-legged, and I think there's a couple of you there who are, you'll feel the weight of your legs on your upper legs on your lower legs and your feet as well. So notice that. Then try and align your shoulders with your hips. And then your ears, as best you can, your ears with your shoulders. Imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light, and that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So really imagine you're lengthening your spine. Try and put some space. Imagine you're putting space in between your vertebrae. Then go to the crown of the head and relax your scalp. And the forehead and the eyes, the back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, back of the tongue, the jaw. Relax your temples and your ears and the inner ear. And relax the back of the head and the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. So notice sound in your environment. Just allow all the sounds to be there. So if you have pets in your home, people in your home, cars outside, and then maybe there's other sensory information coming in as well. So just allow it all to be there. And then just check in with yourself this evening. Like, how are you going? Hi. Yeah, maybe the same way as you would check in with your friend when you came home back to the house. Hi, how are you doing? What's been happening? So another person in the last class was talking about how she was seeing more and more subtle layers, being more and more aware of more subtle layers of different types of thinking in her mind. And so as we do this practice of checking in with ourselves and being curious about what's in the mind rather than being judgmental, you might start to go a little, get a little bit further in, a little bit deeper in to your thought processes. So, whatever stories might be arising, just try to recognize whether it's a fantasy or whether it's just a movie you've made up about the future or something. So just allowing the thoughts to simply arise and abide, and then just to gently dissipate. And then bring to mind some people of your life. So they're people that we love. We have people in our life we love very dearly. And there's strangers in our life, many of them out in the street, in the car, in the store. And then there's ones we have a little bit of discomfort with, maybe even aversion, maybe even anger. We tend to push those away or avoid them. And due to impermanence, these relationships are interchangeable. And you may have had that experience in your own life. One relationship changing from a person who was a complete stranger to somebody who became a very close friend. And just keeping in mind, all these people are equal. They all want the same thing. They're just like you and me. They want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all of the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification practice is basically a psychological one, that we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we're doing this practice of Vajrasattva in the context of the 4 opponent powers. The first of these is the power of regret. So regret is not guilt. Regret is more of an attitude of taking responsibility. Guilt is more like, I'm a really bad person, I did this horrible thing. Regret is like, I really regret I made that decision. What can I do about it? So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And so think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past actions, our past karma. So having harmed others, we are going to necessarily experience something similar in the future. So we don't want any more. We know from our present suffering we don't. So logically, it does make sense to remove those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want their future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So, with there's 2 sections here, one on refuge and one on developing compassion. So refuge, we're thinking about the Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see more as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Buddha to forgive us. We're not looking for a higher power. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So this practice is really a feeling of healing as well. So if you think about purification as healing, it takes the kind of the judgy vibe out of it. Oh, I need to purify. Actually, maybe I just need to heal myself. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. Has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth, and his hair is held up in a top knot. He has his arms are crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra And this represents the indestructibility of compassion. And there being crossed represents enlightenment. So we do a little refuge prayer here. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have this little section on compassion now, developing compassion. And so why is this under reliance? Because we need to rely upon other beings in order to develop compassion. So think of people you've harmed recently. No judgment, just that you are aware that you may have caused them some harm. And then have a strong wish for them to be free from suffering. And then think of the people who've harmed you, and particularly for these people, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for you sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe, vajrasattva samayam manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And it arcs around and enters your crown, filling your entire body. And this time, forcing up to the top parts of the body quite strongly, all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, all our inappropriate speech, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next, we focus on the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you've walked into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So you think of it the same way here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachments, neediness, bitterness, grudges, depression, anxiety, anger, disappointments, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita me boa, Situkaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sita me, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Drita me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which is the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, imagine all of this is purified. And now we think that there's no room in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next we purify even the imprints of negativity of a body, speech, and mind. So imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and this just fills you completely. So we start with the nectar pushing all the negativities of the body down and out. Then the nectar pushing all the negativities of the speech up and out. And then all the delusions blasted by this light. This is all happening simultaneously. So what's happening is it's eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anurakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. Now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one, because here we have to decide that we want to refrain from harming. And it's not going to happen unless we make a decision. So just decide. First of all, rejoice in your efforts for coming along tonight. And particularly Maurice. I had no idea what you were getting into this evening. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. And then think about maybe something you know might be harmful for yourself or others. And think about maybe if you can just let go of that. Maybe it's self-rumination, something like that. Maybe getting obsessed about things. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So we would think, in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while, even if you have only ever heard the word. So just think about the word. So we think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think maybe the way things exist, the way I see things may not necessarily be the way they exist. So we'll dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all those living beings in your life, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do chanting the names of Manjushri. Traversing all three worlds in just one stride, his step extending past the bounds of space, with knowledge of the three well-versed and pure, with sixfold higher knowledge and recall. The Bodhisattva, the Mahasattva, with power great, transcending worldly life, perfected by his excellence of insight, now unified with insight's highest nature. The whole aware of self, aware of other, for fit for all he is the best of men, surpassing all to which he is compared, supreme most Lord of knowing and what's known. Okay, so Maurice, we recite that little text every night, a couple of verses every night. Our teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, passed away, so they have this tradition of finding a reincarnation. So his reincarnation has been born, apparently, so now they're looking for him. So apparently these prayers send out to help ease that process. Anyways, and then just dedicate the practice this evening for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, Lama Zopa Rinpoche to be found, and then for all of your own individual teachers. Okay, everybody. Many thanks for hosting, T-Joy, and lots of love, everybody. And thank you, Maurice, and look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Okay, thanks, everyone. Good night.